Alright, Odd Socks crew, strap on your pilot goggles, tighten your seatbelt, and prepare to question every aviation rule ever made, because P-47, the freedom fighter on the Evercade, is here to remind you that subtlety is for flight simulators, not side-scrolling chaos. You're the lone pilot of the legendary P-47 Thunderbolt, and apparently the entire fate of the free world rests on your shoulders, because clearly one guy in one plane can outgun an entire army, navy, and air force combined. Makes sense, right? Somewhere history teachers are all sitting around crying. From the moment you take off, it's an all-you-can-fly buffet of explosions, bullets, and enemy aircraft that clearly never gets the memo about airspace etiquette, and you'll be dodging more fire than a politician in a debate, weaving through storms of missiles and firing back like your trigger button owes you money. Each stage feels like someone said, what if we took every explosion in existence and shoved it into the sky, and the devs went, that's a perfect idea, let's make it louder. The result, a glorious pixelated war zone where the only one rule is never stop shooting.
Are you nervous?
No, yes, sir. Yes.
Where did you find religion?
Can you assign me this mission, sir?
I want you to do me a favor.
What's that, Colonel?
Pray for both of us.
Visually, it's a time capsule of arcade brilliance, chunky explosions, scrolling skies, and enemies that explode with more enthusiasm than necessary. You'll fight planes, tanks, ships, and maybe a few flying saucers, and who knows, logic left the hangar a long time ago. But what makes it so addictive is that P-47 isn't about realism. Oh no, it's about that pure arcade rush. The kind that makes you lean with the controller like that somehow that helps your plane dodge. It's chaotic, it's repetitive, and it's unfair at times, but you'll still hit continue. And you'll hit it with a grin. Because when that heroic theme kicks in, and your little Thunderbolt swoops through enemy fire like a pixelated superhero, you realise this is what gaming used to be all about. Simple premise, big explosions, zero realism, but maximum fun. So fire up your Evercade, grab your imaginary flight helmet, and take to the skies. You're not just playing a shooter, you're signing up for a one-way mission of freedom, firepower, and finger fatigue. P-47, the freedom fighter, proving once and for all that when it comes to defending liberty, all you really need is one plane, endless ammo, and a refusal to stop pressing that shoot button. Now, I paid $41.30 for this car, but we can't say that because this has 8 games on it. And for the purpose of today's review, we're only reviewing P-47, the freedom fighter. So for me, I need to say that I spent $5.16, meaning for me to get my $10 per hour equivalent ratio, I'll need to play and complete this game in longer than 31 minutes. And I can successfully say I achieved that playing and completing this game in 33 minutes. This equates to me having a $9.40 per hour, which is right on par to that $10 per hour ratio that I'm trying to achieve. I had a play count of 1, I did not use any load counts, and I did not use any save counts, meaning that I completed this on my first playthrough, but I need to admit, I used a ton of continues, and I'm talking a lot. Easily over 100. I used a lot of continues. Let's take a look at the story. Strap in pilots, and we're firing up those engines and heading straight into pixelated World War II chaos, with P-47, the freedom fighter on the Evercade. This isn't your average day at the office unless your office is a fighter plane dodging bullets and dropping bombs on anything that moves. You play as the heroic pilot of the mighty P-47 Thunderbolt, one of the real-life legends of the sky, and your mission is simple: save the world one glorious explosion at a time. It's you versus an entire army because apparently everyone else called in sick for this mission. The story, well, it's war, but I'm talking the arcade kind of war. There's no long cutscenes or tragic backstories here, just a message that basically says the world is in trouble, now go blow stuff up. It's simple, effective, and honestly, it's kind of refreshing. You're not here to talk, you're here to liberate the skies and maybe your trigger finger. Each level takes you through classic wartime backdrops from enemy bases to open seas, all while dodging more bullets than a magician at a knife-throwing act. You'll face tanks, ships, and enemy aircraft that seem to have unlimited ammo and a personal vendetta against you. Sure, P-47 doesn't give you emotional storytelling or deep character arcs, it gives you something better, pure, unfiltered arcade fun. It's loud, explosive, and satisfying in that my thumbs are sore but I'm smiling kind of way. And hey, remember, this isn't just about shooting enemies, it's about fighting for freedom. Which is kind of iconic really, because if you're like me, you'll be glued to your controller for hours, not really free at all. So fire up your Evercade, channel your inner pilot and take to the skies, because in P-47 the Freedom Fighter, every explosion is just another patriotic boom for liberty. And so for the odd sock score on the story, I'm giving P-47 the Freedom Fighter a 5 out of 10. And yeah, that's probably just me because I'm a bit of that story kind of guy. I like to know why I'm flying into danger, not just that I am flying into danger. I mean, if I'm about to risk my digital neck dodging bullets, at least tell me who started this fight. So here's the thing, P-47 is set during World War II, one of the most chaotic, world-shaking events in human history. You had the Allied forces squaring off against the Axis powers, countries torn apart, and brave pilots taking to the skies in dogfights that defined aerial warfare. Planes like the P-47 Thunderbolt, your trusty ride here in this game, were genuine legends. They could soak up damage, drop bombs, and somehow limp home full of holes but still flying. Basically, they were the tanks of the sky. Now that all sounds pretty epic, right? You'd think the game would have set that up for a big, for freedom, for honor, for the world moment. But nope, P-47 just plonks you in a plane, gives you a vague sense of patriotism, and says, you got all this, ace. No explanation, no context, just go shoot everything that moves. It's like the developers assumed we were all history professors on the side. No mission briefings, no radio chatter, not even a cheeky enemy spotted. It's all boom boom, pew pew, and you're on your own. Don't get me wrong, that was pretty normal for 80s arcade games. They weren't exactly built for long storytelling sessions, but man, a tiny scrap of narrative would have made these explosions mean something. By the end, I didn't feel like I'd saved the world, I just felt like I'd flown across it while blowing up 90% of the population. I wanted a victory speech or at least a congratulations you did it moment, but instead I just sort of shrugged it and went, cool, guess we won. Still, there's a certain old school charm to that simplicity. P-47 doesn't waste your time with exposition or dialogue, it's all action, all of the time. Let's take a look at the sound. Now this is where P-47 the Freedom Fighter really takes off, literally and sonically. The moment you hit start, you're greeted by music that doesn't just hum in the background, it launches you out of your seat. I went in expecting the usual old school arcade shooter soundtrack, a few beeps, some polite explosions, and maybe the old brrr from the guns. But no, P-47 kicks in with high-octane, fist-pumping energy that sounds more like it belongs in a 90s action movie than a 1940s war zone. The soundtrack feels like it's cheering you on the whole way through. Every mission has this sense of rhythm and drive, like the composer was standing in the cockpit yelling, "You can do it, champ!" It's got this wild combo of electric guitar riffs and punchy percussion that makes you feel like you're single-handedly rewriting history, one explosion at a time. And let's talk about those sound effects. The machine guns rattle like they mean it, bombs thud with a satisfying kafoom, and when the enemy planes go up in flames, it's pure pyrotechnic bliss. You can almost smell the gunpowder through your TV. It's chaotic in the best way, a noisy, glorious mess of bullet storms and heroic fanfare that just works in this game. It honestly surprised me how much adrenaline the sound design pumps out. This isn't that kind of old school shooter where the music loops in the background like a lullaby. No, this is an anthem. It feels like an audio equivalent of waving a giant flag while shouting freedom at the top of your lungs. Sure, it's not subtle, you won't find quiet ambience or nuanced environmental effects here, but who needs subtle when you're flying through flak and blowing up tanks? P-47 sound design says, we're here to make noise, and lots of it. If you're playing with headphones, fair warning, your ears might file a noise complaint halfway through, but your adrenaline will thank you. Because in P-47, the soundtrack isn't background music, it's the co-pilot. And for the odd-sock score on the P-47 Freedom Fighter, I'm giving it a big 8 out of 10. Because this one completely took me off guard. I was expecting your typical old-school shooter soundtrack, you know, that kind of sounds like a fax machine trying to play heavy metal music. But nope, P-47 came in roaring with energy that had me locked in from takeoff to touchdown. That's right, the music is an absolute banger. It didn't just fill the background, it drove the action. I found myself leaning forward, dodging bullets like I was actually in the cockpit. My thumbs were sweating, my brain was in the zone, and for a brief moment, I was Maverick. Not the Tom Cruise kind though, more like the dad who hums Top Gun themes while mowing the lawn kind. It's that kind of soundtrack that makes you forget you're playing a retro arcade shooter. It's pure adrenaline wrapped in catchy tunes, and every stage feels like a mission, and every boss fight feels like I was about to radio in and say, "Talk to me, Goose." There's just something special about a game that nails this kind of energy. I honestly thought this was going to be another blast on planes and call it a day kind of experience, but the music here gave it real life. It got me toe-tapping, pulse-pumping, please don't crash now kind of vibe that kept me hooked. And look, I might not have that need for speed anymore, but this soundtrack gave me a serious need for altitude. I was so into it that when the level ended, I almost saluted the screen. Let's look at the gameplay. Alright, let's dive into the gameplay because P-47 doesn't just let you fly, it throws you into a sky full of chaos and calls it fun. First off, the backgrounds are absolutely stunning. Each level has its own vibe, lush forests, bustling cities, icy mountain peaks, and deserts that look like someone spilled sand all over the map and said, yep, that'll do. It's like each stage is trying to one-up the last, and honestly, I spent half my time thinking, wow, these pixels are fancy, and the other half screaming at incoming fire. And then there's the power-ups, which are a dream. You get your regular bullets, sure, but the special bombs, chef's kiss. I mean, it's like bringing a bazooka to a snowball fight. You're not just shooting enemies in the air, you're carpet bombing ground targets, turning the battlefield into your own personal demolition derby. It's satisfying, strategic, and honestly a little addictive. If I could, I'd give that bomb power-up its own medal. And now that intensity. Oh boy, the screen is constantly overflowing with enemies. It's like trying to eat hot chips on the beach while a seagull mafia decides to make a surprise visit. You dodge, you weave, you unleash special attacks, and somehow you survive long enough to feel like an absolute legend. It's stressful, yes, but in the good kind of stress, like I might lose my plane or I might become Top Gun kind of stress. And the enemy variety is very impressive too. You've got planes swarming, turrets shooting, bombs dropping, it's basically a buffet of chaos. And the pacing is perfect. You're never bored for a second because as soon as you clear one wave, another 10 appear like, surprise, thought you were safe? Nope. It's relentless, but it's the kind of relentless that keeps your heart pounding in that arcade glory days kind of way. Honestly, P-47 nails that feeling of high-octane sky-based mayhem. Beautiful backdrops, smart power-ups, endless waves of enemies, and that pure adrenaline rush. It's a combo that makes you feel like you're piloting a jet fighter straight out of a Saturday morning cartoon. I mean, who needs coffee when you've got this level of intensity? Your thumbs will ache, your eyes will be glued to the screen, and you'll be grinning like a pilot who just stole a candy store's worth of firepower. So buckle up, grab your Evercade and prepare for a flight that's equal parts beautiful chaos strategy and arcade joy. all while dodging bullets like you're auditioning for Mission Impossible 8. And so for the Oddsock score in the gameplay, I give P-47 a 7 out of 10. And honestly, hear me out, this game is intense. And when I say intense, I mean thumbs flying, heart pounding, did I sign up for a fighter jet boot camp kind of intense. From the first level, you're dodging bullets, weaving through swarms of enemy planes, and praying your reflexes are faster than a cat on a Roomba. And just when you think you've survived, the game throws another wave at you like it's personally offended by your very existence. Once you complete the game, don't expect a breather either. P-47 loops right back to the start, giving you kind of an infinite arcade warzone kind of vibe. It's like being trapped in a relentless action movie where explosions never stop and the director keeps yelling, "More enemies! More chaos!" And you'll find yourself dying every 5 seconds, but somehow that just keeps you coming back for more. It's a brutal test of reflexes, timing, precision, and pure skill. And honestly, I think surgeons should probably play this game before brain surgery just to warm up, because if you can survive P-47, then you can survive anything. The power-ups and bombs are a lifesaver, giving you a tiny glimmer of control in all the chaos. But the sheer number of enemies and that non-stop action keeps you on edge. 1 second you're flying like a pro, the next you're screaming at your screen because a kamikaze plane has decided to say hello with your cockpit as its destination. And yet, that's exactly the thrill of it. You feel every victory, every cleared wave like a true arcade hero, until the game throws the next impossible challenge at you. In short, P-47 gameplay is relentless, addictive, and gloriously unforgiving. It's a workout for your thumbs, your brain, and your sanity, and that's exactly why I loved it. So overall, I give P-47 the Freedom Fighter a big 7 out of 10, and honestly, to me, that feels about right. This game is slick, visually stunning, and sometimes downright breathtaking. I mean, have you seen that sunset stage? It's like the developers thought, sure, we're dropping bullets, missiles, and entire fleets at you, but hey, let's make it look like a postcard while doing it. I half expected someone to ask me if I wanted a Freedom Fighter with a side of latte. And this game is intense. And I mean really intense. You're constantly dodging waves of enemies, trying not to crash into everything, and just praying your reflexes are faster than a caffeinated squirrel on roller skates. Power-ups mix things up nicely, letting you blast enemies on the ground and in the air with a satisfying kaboom every few seconds. And the action is non-stop. The screen is so packed with chaos, I swear at times it felt like I was trying to eat a hot plate of spaghetti while a tornado of meatballs rained down on me. And then there's that loop back after you complete it. It just throws you right back in an endless trial of explosions and dogfights. Dying every 5 seconds becomes the new norm in this game, but it doesn't make you want to give up. It just encourages you to give it another shot, to see if you can outsmart, outdodge these enemies, and try and be that one savior to free the world. So yeah, in P-47, the visually stunning stages, the heart-pounding gameplay, and that sweet mix of power-ups and aerial chaos all justify this cocktail as a 7 out of 10. Yeah, the game's not perfect, and the story is bare bones, and you're basically piloting through a war zone with minimal context, but who cares when the explosions look this good and the adrenaline keeps you so glued to your screen. Thank you so much for watching another deep dive Evercade completion review. If you've made it this far, you've clearly enjoyed this video, so please remember to give me a like, subscribe, and comment down below, because hearing your guys' thoughts on these games is what's motivating me to continue doing these reviews. I am still trying to aim for my 200 subs before the end of 2025, so join the Oddsocks army and hit that sub button, and let's build that Evercade community together. Until next time, stay odd, stay awesome, and we'll see you for another Oddsocks Deep Dive Evercade completion review next week. See you later, guys.